Hello there and welcome back to taking a look at the classics, and as you can see today we've got the Ninja's golden weapon vehicles, and that includes Zane's little snowmobile. Even though that wasn't its own set, it did come in the Fangpire truck ambush, but we are going to be taking a look at that today. But yeah, as you can see, for the three sets we've got Jay's Stormfighter, Kai's Blade Cycle, and then the big one, Kohls' Tread Assault. So yeah, if we start off with the instructions here, you can see for Kai's Blade Cycle, all of these did have a special converting feature that we'll see. And then in the middle of these, they did have some advertisements, which was just kind of put right in the middle of the build. So you can see we've got a poster, and then we've got the advertisement for the weapons checklist. This was in the winter of 2012. So yeah, there's that. And then we've got a little advertisement for all of these sets that we're going to be taking a look at over the course of the next few videos. Lego Universe, and then a little advertisement for Ninjago.com, the spinner character cards, the little graphics that they've done there, and then the advertisement for the new spinners, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty much everything in these instructions was exactly the same, I believe. As far as advertisements go, there's Jay's Stormfighter. The middle, yeah, they've got the same poster, same checklist and everything. So yeah, there's nothing to really take a look at there. Lego Universe again. Yeah, all the same stuff was in these three instructions, since they were all Winter Wave sets. So Kohls' Blade Cycle Book 2 has exactly the same stuff. A little bit in the middle, as you can see, a weapon checklist. This one's been checked off. And then all the stuff in the back. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, as you can see, for all of these sets, they did each come with a ninja and a serpentine, so 2 minifigures each, except for Zane, of course, who came in the Fangpire truck ambush, so technically he had 2 ninja and 2 snakes in his set. But we're just going to be taking a look at Zane from that set today, because that's really the only thing that goes with the snowmobile. So as you can see, he has got the shurikens of ice with him, and you can see his torso and leg detailing, and then that Zane face there, and then the back of him, like so. So yeah, that is Zane. There's nothing exclusive there. Next up we've got Jay. Again, ZXJ. As you can see, he didn't come with his armor piece in this set, but you can see everything on him and his back printing. So yeah, and then the Stormfighter also came with Snapper, the Serpentine. He did also have his own spinner, so yeah, nothing exclusive about him, but still nice to get another version of him. So as you can see, he's got that sword there. And there you can see the print on the top of his headdress and his back print. And then taking that off, there's more of his back print. So yeah, there were the minifigures in Jay's Stormfighter, Jay and Snapper. Then for Kai's Blade Cycle, we had Kai ZX. Now you can see his front, and then his face print. He came with 2 black katanas, and if we take all of that off, there you can see his back detailing. So yeah, that was it for Kai. The Blade Cycle also came with Rattler, the Hypnobrai snake. As you can see, he's got a black spear. There's all of his printing. He's even got that little bit of print on the top of the head there, which looks very cool. And then you can see from the back, and taking that off, there is his back print. And yeah, that is it for the Kai's Blade Cycle minifigures. Now, Kohls' Tread Assault did have a special minifigure. It had scales, but we'll look at him in just a little minute. Here we can see we've got Kohls ZX. He came with the Scythe of Quakes. There's his front and legs, his face underneath, and then there you can see his back printing, which is pretty good. So yeah, that was it for Kohls ZX. This also came with a blue Hypnobrai Viper, which was pretty good inclusion, so you can see that. And then scales, this was the cheapest way you could get any of the Serpentine Generals, and it was also the cheapest way to get scales, since he also came in Destiny's Bounty. So he was the only general that came in more than one set. So there you can see all of his detailing on the front there, and he also came with the collectible Hypnobrai staff there. So you can see that's pretty good. And then we could see his torso and tail printing. Of course, the new tails that they introduced for this winter wave were very good for these general snakes. You can see his face there, print on the top of the head, very good, and then the back print, and if you take that off, there you can see that. So yeah, Scales was definitely the highlight of these Golden Weapon vehicle sets. He was the only general that came with one, unless you of course count Zane's snowmobile, which also came with Fang Tom. So yeah, now that that's all out of the way, we can take a look at these vehicles in depth. Now of course, first things first, this came with Jay's Stormfighter. It's a little stand for the Fangpire snake staff, as you can see. It's got those bits of fire on it as well. The leaves down at the bottom, which have broken sadly a bit. But yeah, you can see that. So you can fight over the Fangpire staff. That's a nice bit of terrain that you got as well. And then Kai's Blade Cycle came with another one, which was just a little stand for the Hypnobrai snake staff. So of course this was one of the other ways you could get that. It came in quite a few sets, I believe, the Hypnobrai staff did. But yeah, you can see all of that. So now that those are out of the way, we are going to go smallest to biggest with the vehicles. So of course that means Zane's snowmobile is up first. And yeah, there we can see it. And of course, these did get legacy sets last year for them, except for Kohls Treadasort. So yeah, there was also remakes of these last year in 2019. And then you can see these stickers on the front of that bit there, and that does move up and down, but it's not really useful. You can't really move when it is up, and when it's up like that, there's really no point in it. So it is kind of meant to be down like that. You can see all of the blades on this as well, and the ice pieces that they've used for details. You see we've got the handlebar there, and that is of course where you can sit Zane. So you just stand him on there, and then you could hold the handlebars with his hands if you wanted to. And yeah, he can turn his shurikens into the snowmobile. And yeah, the wheel rolls nicely. You can bring this down as a brake so that the wheel won't move. Then you can bring it up. It does kind of break when you try and do that, but yeah, you can put it back on and bring it up. And yeah, that's really all there is for Zane's snowmobile. As I said, it was the smallest and it didn't have its own set. It was part of another set. So yeah, keep that in mind. And then next up, we of course have got Kai's Blade Cycle. So this was Kai's own personal bike, and of course it kind of set the trend for the start of the really big Ninjago bikes. There you can see it kind of leans down at the front there. It's got the big wheels as well, so it rolls really nicely. In there you can see we've got a handlebar that can move up and down, and there is space to stand Kai, and you can put his hands on the handlebars like so. You can just clip them in if you want to, or just have them on top like so. But then yeah, Kai can position himself and ride his bike into battle. And you can see some of the stickers on there. We've got a little snake count, we've got all these flames coming off it like so. These can move, but there really isn't much use in that. It's got Kai's elemental symbol at the front there, and then more stickers over here on this side, and a different one there. We've got the Octane 88 oil there. And yeah, of course the main feature of this bike was that you could convert it, and what you would do with that is you would just push down on this big piece at the front here, and then what would happen is all of the weapons would kind of shoot out the side. So you could just push that open and the blades would come out, and then what you could do with those blades when they were out, of course, is you could attack some innocent serpentine like so and just knock them down, and then take the Hypnobrai staff. Then of course to close it all up, you just push these two at the bottom, and yeah, it will all close up. So of course the harder you do it, the harder they would come out, and yeah, it's a pretty good feature. And yeah, that was all there really was to Kai's Blade Cycle. And of course it did get the legacy set last year, which had a similar feature to this, but it was slightly different. The blades I think went in different positions, but yeah, you get the idea. And yeah, it was a pretty good set for the 2012 wave, and it still holds up as one of my favourite Ninjago bikes before the kind of bike fatigue set in. But anyway, with that out of the way, next we have got Jay's Storm Fighter. So this was a pretty big one, the second biggest of the vehicles of course, and you can see right straight away we've got these two golden blades at the front. And what you could do with those is you could just take them off and give them to Jay as weapons to use. I'm not sure why you'd do that, because he could just unsummon the jet and he would have his nunchucks back, but yeah. So you could just put those in there, and we can see all of these details along the top of the jet there. As you can see, got that big arrow there, and that's for the transformation feature that you'll see later. You can see we've got the blades along the sides of this, and on the other side there we can see that we've got the red and green lights there, some electricity flowing off the fins in the back here. I've got this cockpit, and what you could do is open it up, and then this is kind of why Jay doesn't have his armor piece in this set, and that's because he wouldn't fit with it in. So you just sit Jay in there, close it up, and yeah, he is well away to go fly and take on some serpentine. You can see these blades in the bottom of the jet here, as you can see. There's a nice view of it from the bottom. You can see that elastic band there. Of course, the feature with this one was that you could push this thing in the middle, and then the wings would pop out like so. So there you can see you got a nice kind of intimidating view of the whole jet, like so. And yeah, you can see how the blades come out. And to close that up, you could just push them back in like so, without breaking the front of the fin. So I guess that's kind of a weakness there, but they definitely fixed that in the 2019 version of this that they made, which had the same feature. You just push something in and then the wings would swing out like so. So yeah, that was Jay's Stormfighter. Pretty good set, and yeah, still holds up today. It looks like a good jet, and it's got that nice feature, and of course it's nice and slick when it's all closed up, and then when it's open, nice and big, and you can do a lot with it. So of course you could grab it in the middle here if you wanted to, or you could grab it from the back, which was a lot easier, and you could just swoosh it around. So yeah, now we can get on to the final of the vehicles, which is also my favourite of the vehicles, Kohls Tread Assault. And this one definitely had the most that you could do out of any of the vehicles. So first of all, you can see we've got these big wheels in the front and back. The back wheel is much bigger. You can see it also has these spinner crowns in just gold, and what you could do is of course you could take those off and put them on a spinner if you wanted to. And as you can see at the front here, we've got this missile. You can lift that up or bring it down, but then of course you would just push on this here and it would fire off. So of course the idea with that is that you could reenact what actually did happen in the show, and you could shoot scales. So there we are. And yeah, of course you could then reload that and do it again if you wanted to. You can see we've got all these blades along the vehicle, and we've got some swords at the front there. As you can see, the cockpit in the middle is spinning around a bit, and that's for one of the 2 transformation features. And you would just slide Kohl in there. He doesn't have any studs to sit on, so you would just put him in like so, and then close this up to hold him in. And there he is in the Tread Assault, and he's ready to go fight some snakes. And we can see some of the details on the engine at the front there, all these stickers on the little blades here. And of course the first of the features is the transformation feature. Like all of the other vehicles had, this one had a transformation feature. So we'll do it from the front first, and then we'll see how it all works. So of course what you could do is you'd push on the back here, and then all these blades would pop out, and that would make for a really intimidating view. As you can see, they do pop out really far if you push it hard enough, and yeah, you get that nice view. Personally, I don't think they should make a legacy version of this one, because honestly this version is good enough as it is. I'm definitely a huge fan of this. And of course to put them all back, you would just push them down like so. And then of course how you do that is you just push on this orange bit here, and you can kind of already see it pushing them there. So now we've got a nice top view. What you can do is of course push on those and all the blades will pop out. So if we do that again, you can see like so. So all of those blades come out, and yeah. And then of course the final feature of this is why the cockpit is spinning, and that is because what you could also do as a transformation feature is you would literally just flip the whole vehicle over, and it would have its own little disguise, as you can see, disguised as a serpentine vehicle. And you can see the missile launcher also moves all the way up on this side as well. So they really did get the design of this perfectly so that you could actually have the wheels roll on both sides. So it is nice and thin, and the wheels are big enough that they protrude out of each side so that it can actually roll while upside down. And then of course this in the middle, which can go all the way out on each side. So yeah, that is a very good feature, and of course you can see a nice top view of that with all of the green on there to hide as a snake. And of course, to get that back, you would just push this like so and pop the weapons out again. And of course, when it is as a snake, you can still have those two weapons out on the side like so, and yeah, that still makes for quite an intimidating look. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all of the Golden Weapon vehicles. These were great sets back in the day, and they still hold up to this day. And you can see with the Stormfighter, all of its weapons out now. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about these. So these were, again, great sets. You got some great minifigures, and I of course say Scales is the highlight of these weapon vehicles. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, and I guess I will see you again very soon. Goodbye.